All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our GBC class of the day, Challenges for Non-Residents when Investing in the U.S. Real Estate. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it right over to Eva from Moneycorp, and she will lead you through what you need to know about investing.
Thank you so much, Cassidy. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. Again, my name is Eva. I'm with Moneycorp Currency Exchange. Today, you're going to get to know a little bit about Moneycorp. If you already know about us, great. We're going to go over current trends that we're seeing for international investors. Where's money coming from? Where's money going to? And we're going to talk about exchange rates. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. And here we go. I hope everybody can see it well. So I'm going to jump right into it. Brief introduction to Moneycorp. In case this is the first time you're hearing about us, Moneycorp is a currency exchange company. We specialize in international money transfers. We're here to help your foreign national investors, your foreign national sellers, your foreign national friends that simply need to move funds from one country to another, and we can help them to get far better rates of exchange than the banks. I myself have been with Moneycorp for close to 8 years now. Wow, saying that it's such a long time. I love my company. I love my team. I think if you've worked with international clients for quite some time, you'll know that there's quite a few currency exchange companies out there. There's a lot of choices for you, for your clients. I think it's really important to know that the company you're selecting to work with is highly licensed, highly compliant, highly secure, which we are. We're always growing. We have been in business for over 40 years. And one important thing to note about Moneycorp is that we are licensed to help clients in the US in all states, which is not something that every other currency exchange company can say. This is something that I'm so proud of that we received last year, Top Global Business Partner by Florida Realtors. We hope to keep helping Florida Realtors grow their international business, their international connections. And again, another reason I'm really proud to be part of Moneycorp is the high level of customer service that my team provides to every client. We're not just going to get them a really good rate of exchange. We're really going to handhold your international buyers, your international sellers throughout the whole process. When an international investor is about to be purchasing property in Florida or somewhere in the US, this is a big deal. This may be their first overseas purchase. So a lot of them might not know, what's a title company, what's a deposit, what's going on. We're certainly here to help with more than converting their currency. We really want to make sure that you have a smooth closing day, that they have a great experience purchasing that property. These are a few of the locations where we have teams and offices. We are growing. One of the newest ones is in Toronto, Canada. Moneycorp has always been able to help Canadian clients, but over the last 2 years, we're really pushing to grow our business there with local teams on the ground, with local client accounts in Canada. So we really have more to offer to your Canadian clients now more than before. I think they'll be quite happy with the service. And again, we can help them on the Canadian side and the US side. We do have a team in Brazil. It's quite difficult to get money in and out of Brazil. Our team does a really good job of doing so. We do speak quite a few different languages, not all of them, but if we can accommodate your client, we'll certainly do our best do so. Our website is packed with information. Our marketing team is incredible. They're always putting out new webinars, new marketing pieces that you as a realtor, as a referring partner, are welcome to take and use and show that to your clients or update it and make it fit your website, your needs, and use that information. Anything that helps you. We're all virtual now. We're not always We don't have the ability to meet with clients in person. So any information that you can provide to your clients, please do so. There's daily market updates, weekly market updates on our website, overseas property guides, and a lot of different reasons why clients might need to use our services. So take a look through there. We do help not just individuals, but corporations as well. That's been growing quite a lot on the Canadian side and the US side. I think many of you know that your international investors do like to purchase homes, under an LLC, under a trust, under a corporation. So we can certainly accommodate that as well and help with any business transfer needs, whether it's money coming into the US or money leaving the US and paying vendors abroad. So there's always money being moved in and out. It's just a matter of remembering that you have a partner that can certainly help with that. So what's the difference between a company like Moneycorp and a bank? That's the number one question I get all the time. I get it from real estate professionals. I get it from clients. There's a huge difference, but the reality is that banks have been around forever. Everybody knows what a bank is. And when it comes to moving funds internationally for the first time, a client may just think, I just need to go to my bank and they'll do it. The bank can do it. The bank can easily transfer and exchange money and make it happen. But what happens in the background is the bank is going to take a pretty high margin on that exchange rate. What the banks do have going for them is they're a recognized brand. People know that they're secure. So that's how they get away with charging a little more, because they rely on the fact that the clients are not going to look elsewhere. They're not going to know about Moneycorp or other currency exchange companies. And so they get away with charging more. With Moneycorp, your clients will have a personal currency specialist assigned to them who's going to walk them through the process from start to finish, discuss their requirements. Oh, you're looking to buy a property in Florida in the next 6 months. Great, let's start monitoring the exchange rate for you. Let's find the most favorable time for you to go ahead and target a good exchange rate or book in that exchange to maximize your savings. You're not going to get that at the bank. They're going to be lucky to speak with someone that understands international wires. Our team is really going to help them from start to finish. With Moneycorp, there's different ways that a client can secure the exchange rate. The bank, you walk in, you get the exchange rate of the day, you're done. You pay what you pay. You pay an international wire fee, a high margin on the exchange rate. With Moneycorp, you have the ability to book a spot exchange, which is a simple call us, get the live quote right now, book in your exchange. We can also target a rate of exchange. Maybe the client has a certain rate, that's their magic rate, and that's when they want to exchange. Great, we'll target that rate, and as soon as that rate hits, we can go ahead and convert for the client. We also have an option that's called a lock-in or forward contract, whereby we do lock into a rate of exchange for up to 2 years' time. And that can come in really handy. I'll show you a few examples later on where clients have really been taking advantage of this more than ever because of the extreme currency exchange swings we've seen throughout COVID. How it works, first step is for your client to set up a free, no obligation Moneycorp account. It really is free. There's no hidden charges. There's no catch. They don't have to use our service once they open the account. It truly is free. It's simple, it's quick. They can register online. It's going to verify their name and address, their identity and verification. Then they can secure the exchange rate whenever they're ready. They transfer funds to Moneycorp. We exchange to the currency they need, and we transfer it to a recipient account. That could be a title company, that could be an attorney, that could be a personal bank account. They can make as many transfers as they like out of the Moneycorp account. There's no transfer fees. So it's completely up to the client's needs. Again, if the client needs to send money to a title company, we're going to walk them through how to enter those details correctly, how to process that payment correctly and timely. And we can also provide statements, a transfer confirmation to show the realtor, the client, and the title company that funds are on the way. This is just a really quick example. I like to keep it really simple and to show you a typical average savings between using Moneycorp and using a bank. In this example, it would be a bank in Europe, a bank in France. So Clarice is buying property in Florida. She needs 300,000 US dollars for the purchase. So Clarice goes to her local bank in France and she gets a quote. They tell her that the euro dollar rate they're offering is 1.14. So that property in Florida will cost her about 263,000 euros. In addition to that, she's likely going to have to pay an international wire fee to get the funds going. She can easily set up a Moneycorp account, 5 minutes over the phone or online, and she can get a quote from us. The quote she'll get from Moneycorp will be much closer to the live interbank rate of exchange that you can find on Google, on Bloomberg. We try to keep clients as close as possible to that live rate. So with Moneycorp, to purchase this Florida home, 300,000 US dollars, she'll need about 254,000 euros. So right away, and she's saving, this is 8,921 euros. That's over 10,000 US dollars that your buyer can now keep in their pocket. I mean, that's money they can use on so many other things. Again, in this case, Clarice is not going to pay an international wire fee. Moneycorp has a local client safeguard account in France. So the process is not only cheaper for her, but it's quicker and easier as well. It's much easier for a client to move money from one French bank to a French Moneycorp account than it is to send money directly to an account in the US. And again, we can provide statements, we can provide transfer confirmations and updates. There are times when a realtor will call me and say, you know, look, my client wants to use you. We want to go ahead and make the transfer they're buying, but what we need is a proof of source of funds. So sometimes the proof of source of funds could be an issue with an international investor. Why? Because their funds are in another currency. So they can easily, you know, Clarice in this case could easily provide a bank statement from her bank in France that shows she's got this many euros on account, but that may not be really helpful as a proof of source of funds in the US. What's that in dollars? That's what we want to know for proof of source of funds. So what our team can do, and we've done this in the past, is we can provide a statement showing, you know, based on today's exchange rate, based on what Clarice has provided on her bank statement, she has this much US dollars available for the purchase. Once Clarice has funds on account with us, we can again say Clarice now has a balance of this much money on account with Moneycorp. From start to finish, we can show the flow of funds, which I know sometimes is needed in some international purchases, depending on how the loan's structured, depending on what the requirements from the seller are. So these are things that we can provide, and we can certainly make sure the funds are safe, secure, and trackable from start to finish. So we all know that it's been wild. I had a realtor recently tell me that real estate has been the wild, wild west. I can just hear you guys laughing and agreeing and nodding your heads, even though I can't see you right now. But it really has been over the last year. You know, exchange rates have been crazy. Life has been crazy. The world has been crazy. So exchange rates in particular are affected by so many things. COVID, yes, unemployment data, economic outlook, so many things. For example, now as vaccines are rolling out around the world, that has an effect on how exchange rates do as well. So exchange rates are moving and ticking every second. When you think about an international investor, you know, no matter where they're from, they're thinking of buying in Florida. How long is the whole process from them, from the day that they get the idea of wanting to buy in Florida to the day they actually purchase? I mean, that could be 6 months, that could be 9 months, that could be a year and a half. Let's be real. They can't even travel here right now. So during that time, sure, they can look for properties, sure, they can get a loan, sure, they can do all these other things, but the exchange rate is moving and ticking and doing its thing. And by the time they're ready to go ahead and send the funds to title, what if the exchange rate is moved dramatically against them? What if they can't afford that home anymore? So the earlier you introduce your client to a currency exchange specialist, the more we can protect them, plan with them and discuss how we can best do this exchange and transfer to make sure you don't lose money, to make sure you're protected from adverse currency movements, to make sure you can get the funds there for that Florida home. I think it skipped a slide. Sorry about that. Here we go. I just want to show you this slide first. So this is just a quick look at exchange, some of the major exchanges at the moment, what they're doing. There's obviously a lot more, but this is just a brief look at some of the ones that we see on a daily basis. I usually do charts and a lot more information, but I just wanted to touch on this so I can talk to you about other things today. But at the moment, €1 is getting you $1.19. 1 British pound is getting you $1.38. Canadian dollar gets you 80 cents. And then we also want to take a look at the Norwegian krona. I've been noticing a lot of clients from Netherlands, from Norway, from Switzerland, from Denmark, who have been reaching out to us more than we're used to. And they're doing both things. Half of them are selling their Florida properties and looking to transfer funds back to the US. And half of them are inquiring about purchasing, but overall throughout Europe, Canada as well, what I'm seeing the common denominator in since beginning of this year really is people are very interested in buying a home here. They're very interested in finally doing something. I think especially our British clients who've been quarantined for so long, really strictly quarantined. We've never even experienced a portion of what they've been through. We've had it pretty nice here in Florida. But those clients in the UK, gosh, they are ready to buy all the Florida homes as soon as they can get on a flight and come here. There's such demand, there's such interest. There's people that have talked about buying a Florida home, toyed with the idea for a few years, but now after going through COVID and after going through quarantine, they're like, no, we're going to do it as soon as we can. Yes, we want this Florida home and the Florida lifestyle. So I think we're all going to be so busy as soon as travel restrictions are lifted. I'll give you an example of how currency exchange fluctuating really affects what you're paying for a home, and how thinking ahead could really help here. So this is an example of a European client looking to purchase in Florida. The home in Florida would be $400,000 US. We'll take a look back at May of last year. Obviously extreme, case, COVID had just hit us. Exchange rates had reacted quite jerkily. So at that time, the euro US dollar was 1.08. So that home in Florida would have cost about 370,000 euros. A few months later, September of last year, the euro US dollar has moved to 116. So now that same home in Florida is costing 344,000 euros. Getting better, getting cheaper. January of this year, the euro US dollar went to 1.23. So again, to buy that same home in Florida, now it's pretty much on sale for them, 325,000 euros. That's a big difference. And March, where we are at the moment, the exchange rate is at 1.19 today between the euro dollar. So now that home is 336. So working with a company like Moneycorp, it gives the ability for your European buyer to go ahead and take advantage of that January rate. I know they can't come here necessarily. I know it's strange times, but there are a lot of clients that are buying sight and seeing. They're doing things virtually and taking advantage of these swings in the exchange rate because the savings is real, it's significant. Looking at what, between January and March, that's a big difference in the exchange rate. We can actually help that European buyer to lock into the rate in January for the next 2 years. So whether they're able to travel to Florida end of this year or next year, they can take advantage of that rate and go ahead and comfortably purchase that home in Florida. Now, in this example, this is throughout 2020, what we saw is a significant amount of foreign nationals selling their Florida homes. I mean, just huge, every month more than the month before, nonstop. And honestly, that trend has not ended. It's still going on. So if you're working with foreign national sellers, this example is important for you to know. In this example, I'll highlight a UK seller selling his Florida home, but this same example can apply to clients from Canada, to clients from Europe, clients from Australia. It's really important to understand the closing day process, the repatriation process, and how you can best guide your seller to make sure that their money doesn't get stuck or something goes wrong. So this has been probably since February of last year till now. My team probably handles 2 to 3 of those a day. It's been absolutely crazy. So in this example, Tim from UK is selling his US home for $400,000, and on closing day, the title company has, is ready to send proceeds. So Tim has a few options on what to do with these proceeds. Tim is already back in the UK, like most foreign national sellers are. They're not here. They're doing everything from their home country. So Tim could say to the title company, can you just go ahead and put the proceeds in my US bank account? Here's my US bank account details. Thank you very much. Tim doesn't need the money right now. He doesn't want to deal with it. He doesn't like the exchange rate between the dollar and the pound today. So he's just going to put it in his US bank. The title company can do that. Tim can do that. That's okay. However, the problem comes later. The problem comes when 3 months later, Tim says, I want that money back in the UK now. The only way Tim can initiate that transfer of funds from the US bank is if he hops on a flight, walks into his branch, and signs off on that wire transfer. And this is a piece of information that is just oftentimes not relayed to the seller. They find out way too late once their money is stuck. Their bank doesn't tell them sometimes, the title company doesn't tell them, sometimes the realtor doesn't tell them, or sometimes everybody tells them and they just still refuse to listen. So this is so important. There's something called the Us Patriot Act. Make your foreign national sellers aware of this. I know everybody wants to get to closing day and just get it over with, but this could really hurt you after the fact. This could hurt your relationship potentially with that foreign national seller, and prevent you from getting more referrals from them in the future. So I think it's so important. I know sometimes people will say to me, Eva, I don't feel comfortable asking my client where they're going to put their money. I don't feel comfortable having that conversation and guiding them. But do you feel comfortable with receiving a phone call, a very angry phone call from, potentially from your seller a few months later? I don't know. You guys decide what's best here. But if I have the ability to get in contact with your client prior to closing, I'll certainly make them aware of it. If you want to make it my job to make it aware of them, I'm okay with that. But no joke here, they really cannot initiate a transfer of funds from a US bank without being present. They may get away with moving $1,000, maybe $5,000 a week, depending on what their online bank access allows them to do. But on a large amount, property proceeds, no, they won't be able to. So please, please, please make them aware of this prior to closing day. Now, Tim could also say to the title company, you know what, just send it to my bank in England. Here's my British pound account here. Here's the account number, just wire it. Okay, so some title companies can do that. Honestly, in Florida, most of them will do an international payment. There are some that won't. I've seen it. Just again, beware of what your title company that you work with, that you prefer, know what their capabilities are. Ask those questions before you bring that foreign national client to them, because they all have their different rules and regulations and things they like to do and don't want to do. So double check with your title company. How can you handle my foreign national sellers? So the title company, some of them can send funds internationally to Tim's UK bank account. Tim will get his pounds, closing will happen. But what happens in the background is the title company in Florida is banking with the US bank. It's not their fault, they all do, and we all use US banks, we live here. But it's a US bank that will handle Tim's conversion from US dollars into pounds. So that means Tim's going to get ripped off. Tim's going to lose a lot of money on that exchange. He has no control over what exchange rate he's getting, what fees he's getting charged. He's just going to get an amount of pounds in his account in England and call it a day. If he thinks he's been charged unfairly, that you can't really do anything about it at that point. So again, have that conversation with your client, make them aware of the consequences of what the charges will be. If you were introduce your client to Moneycorp prior to closing day, we can set up a Moneycorp account for him, and we can provide the title company with Tim's US dollar client account details. From a title company point of view, when they send funds to Moneycorp, they're just making a local transfer. So they tend to like that. It's quick, it's easy. Tim gets his US dollars faster, everybody's happy. Now Tim is in control. Tim can decide if he wants to exchange that money immediately. Moneycorp will exchange it into pounds at a better rate of exchange than what a bank can do. And we can send it to his bank in England without a transfer fee. Or Tim can say, you know what, Moneycorp, hold on to my dollars and give me a ring when the exchange rate is more favorable for me. We can do that. Tim can also say, you know what, Moneycorp, I want to exchange this money exactly when the rate is 1.35. Don't call me, don't email me, don't bother me. When 1.35 hits, can you immediately, automatically convert? Cassidy, do you see me? Okay, we're back. You can see me. Okay, thank you guys. I don't know what happened. I kept getting a notification that we cut out. Okay. Let me reshare my screen. That was weird. Okay. Okay, we're back in business. So yes, to pick up where we left off, significant amount of savings. Also, we can do this for 10, but we can also do this for an LLC, a trust, or corporation. Again, a lot of foreign nationals like to title their home, their investment here under an LLC. This is something we see quite often. Additionally, what we see more times than I'd like to is when I get the phone call, the freak out phone call of, hey, so we're closing and the title company says they won't release the funds to my seller because they don't have a bank account in the name of the LLC. That happens so often, so often. So again, Moneycorp can accommodate this. We can set up an account in Tim's LLC name or Tim's corporation name, but it's definitely good to contact us, a few days before the closing, if not a few weeks before the closing, because when we're setting up an account for a corporation or LLC, there's sometimes more information required than when we set up an account for an individual. We'll still try to turn it around for you as quickly as possible, but again, important questions to ask beforehand and be aware of. Tim, I see your property's titled in an LLC. Do you have a bank account in that name? Good question to ask. An additional FERPTA, we all know FERPTA has been taking forever because of COVID. Like, what is the new timeline now? 9-10 months. So a lot of foreign national sellers are not happy about that turnaround time, but nobody can change that. But again, as and when FERPTA money is released and available to the seller, the title company can go ahead and send it to the same Moneycorp account that Tim has with us, and we can go ahead and process the exchange and transfer the same way. Now, I wanted to go back a few slides. I skipped this one. I wanted to leave it for the end. Americans investing abroad. This is the other trend that started in 2020 and is going strong. And I think this trend will only continue on. So I started really telling my partners and started having these discussions like beginning of 2020, and then COVID hit, and then, you know, everybody thought nobody's investing anywhere. Not true. During these really big, significant swings in the exchange rates back in March, when I was trying to figure out where to buy toilet paper and disinfectant wipes, there are apparently people out there, Americans out there, that said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and lock into the rate of exchange so I can buy that apartment in Paris. And a lot of people did this throughout the months of March, April, May, and June. I think we had more clients using our forward contract than we've ever seen. I mean, it just made sense. The exchange rates were, when are they ever going to get 1.08, you know, to purchase a home in Europe? So the number one spot that we're personally seeing, I'm sure the data and all the information will come out in 2022, but what we're seeing is Portugal. Portugal seems to be the it place. I don't know what's going on in Portugal, but people love it. A lot of Americans are very interested in their golden visa program, and Portugal is hot. They just keep wanting to purchase in Portugal. And this is not just clients that are saying, I want to buy in Portugal once I can travel there. These are clients that are purchasing. Some of them find a way to get there. Some of them have just purchased virtually. So Portugal is hot. I would say the second spot, or about as equal as Portugal, if not, would be France. Paris and southern France, it's been really popular, and properties there are not cheap by any means. In my example, I've just used €1 million as an example, but most of our clients are higher than that on what they're buying. So just to give you a quick example, between March of last year and March of this year, for an American purchasing a €1 million apartment in Paris, between the exchange rate being 1.08 and now March of this year being 1.19, they're paying a whole lot more in US dollars for that property, except the ones that went ahead and locked into the exchange rate last year during spring when we were all freaking out about COVID. So again, it's just so important to stay informed, stay connected. How is this important to you, realtor in Florida? Well, Americans all over the US are investing abroad. It's not just people in California. I mean, sure, there's a lot from California, but people from all over the US are wanting to buy properties abroad. Here in Florida, we're seeing a lot of people interested in Mexico, interested in the Caribbean. Same thing, they still need to do an exchange and transfer funds, and Moneycorp can help facilitate that. And same thing, exchange rates are fluctuating, exchange rates are live. So the more that you can guide and help and introduce your client to the right contacts, the more, you know, they'll have a great experience. You can build a relationship, a referral with another realtor in that country. There's so many different ways to go about it. Building up your international network is so important. Other places that we see people purchasing, Americans purchasing, are Italy. Italy has been really popular. Ireland as well. UK as well. It's been nuts. We had to grow our American team to help accommodate the demand and the inquiries from American clients wanting to purchase abroad. And that's not slowing down. I can only assume that, I mean, the reasons are different: exchange rates, COVID, politics, age, health, whatever. Every client has a different reason for wanting to move abroad. But it's happening, they're doing it. So join as much global councils as you can. Join Facebook groups, global real estate groups. I see them all over the place, and they're quite successful in connecting people. Call us if you have a question. If you have a friend or a client that says, I'm interested in buying in Portugal, well, I can introduce you to so many people in Portugal. I can share my sources with you. These are people that I know, I trust, I work with, I like, and previous clients have used and liked them as well. So if I can ever help you build your international network, let me know. I also saw that Razem is actually going to be hosting I think it's global, I don't want to mess it up, but I think it's Global Spotlight, and you're going to focus on different countries every other month, which is amazing. They're not doing that for no reason. They're doing that because there's interest, demand, and things are happening. I think watch this space, because I think this will grow more and more. I actually just heard about potentially there being a trade mission to Portugal, real estate trade mission to Portugal. So stay tuned and try and get involved as much as you can, because I think there's so much opportunity here. And again, Moneycorp can help facilitate a transfer from the US to any of these countries. American banks charge the worst exchange rates. They take the highest margins. If you compare Canadian banks, American banks, European banks, Australian banks, the list can go on and on. I would say American banks are pretty bad with what they charge, and there's high fees, high exchange rates. So definitely worth for your American clients to be working with Moneycorp. I'm just going to check on the chat. Okay, just to see if there's any questions. I do have one question, which is, what about tax implication on increases for Tim with increased exchange? What about tax implication on increases? So Daniel, when it comes to taxes, we don't get involved. We're not allowed to help out when it comes to taxes. We can strictly talk about the actual currency exchange, the live rate of exchange, and the transfer of funds from point A to point B. If you guys have any questions relating to taxes, it definitely has to be tax professional. We definitely are not allowed to discuss that or to help you with that. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next slide. We already did those, so I'll jump ahead. And this is kind of where I'm going to with increasing your international network and having those professionals handy. If you don't, have those set of people for your foreign national clients that are coming to the US, but perhaps also start building the set of people for clients that are American and want to buy in Europe or want to buy in Mexico or want to buy in Canada, because the same people can't help you with everything. You're probably going to need, if you have a client that wants to buy in Portugal, you're probably going to need an attorney in Portugal. Foreign national lending, same thing. You may have a contact here and may need another contact in Europe, but start building that team of experts, because don't wait until something goes wrong. Don't wait until your foreign national client hits, a hurdle, because it's too late then for you to start looking and finding that person. Have those personal relationships. Be the, I know a guy. Everybody likes those people. I know a guy or a gal. I think it speaks a lot about you as a real estate professional. I think it makes such a difference if you look at your client and say, hey, client, I'm going to introduce you to Eva at Moneycorp because she's going to take great care of you. She's going to help you with your currency exchange. Make sure you get the best rate. That is such a big difference than saying, I've heard of Moneycorp. I think they're pretty good. You should check them out. I mean, maybe they'll check us out, but they're probably not going to get the incredible experience that me and my team will provide them with from start to finish. That's kind of like saying, try Progressive. Their commercials are fun. Having that personal introduction only makes you look better in your international client's eyes, because it says you've dealt with this before. You know the right people. And again, if there's anyone we can help introduce you to, let me know. Call me, email me, text me. If there's something I don't know, I'm going to make some calls and find the right person and introduce you. We get these types of questions all the time. I'll have a realtor call me from Texas that says, hey, my client's buying in Spain, help me. I don't know anyone in Spain. So then I'll introduce the realtor in Texas to the realtor in Spain. They can do their business, help the client, and everybody's happy. So there's always ways to connect, to grow. With Moneycorp, we do have a referring partner program. Some of you are probably already working with us in that way. Some of you are maybe referring clients to us, but not taking advantage of the partner program that we have. You can directly introduce a client to myself by calling me, texting me, email me. I can register that client under your name. I can keep you updated on their progress. I can make sure that your closing happens correctly, timely, and then you have that added peace of mind that security is and compliance is, constantly followed when it comes to your client's transfer of funds. We do have the ability to pay referral fees as well on any exchanges booked by your clients for the lifetime of their account, but that's not really what we sell our service on. That's just sort of the tiny cherry on top. But what we really care about is that you introduce your client to us and we provide your client with the best exchange rate and best experience so that they're so happy and thankful to you for that introduction. These are landing pages that you can add on your website, on social media, I see a lot of you do newsletters, client newsletters, really anywhere you'd like, an email blast to your clients. They can have different looks, different wording, whatever fits your theme, your website, the clients that you're targeting. But any client who goes and clicks on that link and establishes a Moneycorp account in 5 minutes is automatically registered to you. So whether or not, hopefully they use you as their realtor, but even if they don't and they purchase elsewhere or do something else and use Moneycorp for that transaction, you still can get the referral fees for anything they do. But again, if a client does go to your website, establish an account through this link, I'm going to follow up with you next day and say, hey, Stacy, did you know that John from UK set up an account with us yesterday? Here's his phone number and his email. Go ahead and give him a ring. So it can also work backwards in getting you international leads as well. This is I did not mean to skip. This is a comparison sheet. I wish I could zoom it in more, but I don't think I can. A comparison sheet that's been quite handy. I've had a lot of realtors ask me for this. This is really good for a listing presentation or, just a conversation with a potential seller, for a national seller. In this example, it's a Canadian client selling their Florida home. So you can call me and say, hey, Eva, I'm going to meet with a Canadian seller. I need your help. They bought the home in Florida in 2015, for example. I look at what the exchange rate was at that time. I look at what they paid for the home in 2015, and I calculate what they paid in Canadian dollars. You'll give me the suggested sale price. We look at the exchange rate they would achieve if they sold today, and we look at what they would get in their currency in Canadian dollars. This is a sheet that some of our referring partners have done in mailing campaigns, which have been extremely successful because everybody's at home and actually reading their mail. People have used it in many different situations, but it's worked. There's a really big difference between looking at your Canadian seller and going, exchange rate is in your favor, you should sell, and actually showing them some numbers and showing potential savings and showing them a chart and them starting that conversation with a currency exchange specialist. So if that's something that can help you, let us know. I'll make you that. I can usually turn it around back to you in about half an hour or so. So we can put your name, your logo, your contact details. I can change the imagery, the information, or I can send it to you and you can do with it, what you'd like. But I think it's really helpful and it's worked to help a lot of foreign national sellers go ahead. This is our daily exchange rate email. You're welcome to text me after this or email me after this, and I can sign you up for this. It's a simple Moneycorp email that pops up in your inbox every day, and it shows you some of the major currency pairs. delete it some days, glance at it other days, but it's helpful. It's good for you to know and be aware. Maybe you'll have a conversation with a European buyer later that day, and you'll be able to drop in the conversation, what the euro dollar rate is. That means a lot to your client, that you're aware, that you understand this, especially Canadian clients, if I might say, because they're obviously a huge presence in Florida. They're so aware of what the exchange rates are doing. They want to have these conversations with you, and they'll appreciate an introduction to a currency exchange specialist. So if that's something that you'd like, just let me know. And here is my, this is my email address. This is my direct cell phone number. So if it's easier for you to text me quickly after the presentation and say, I'd like a landing page, or I'd like daily rates, or whatever, feel free to do that. It'll come directly to me. I know my last name could be a pain to spell, so I understand if you guys just want to shoot me a quick text. But I'm based in Orlando, Florida. I, in normal times, would be in person with you in Sarasota. I love coming to Sarasota, but hopefully later in the year we can do that. But for now, call me, text me, and if there's anything I can help with, just let me know. I'm gonna look through, see if there's any questions from anyone, or if anyone wants to unmute themselves and say hi, or make a comment, or ask a question, please feel free to do so. But I wanted to make sure I definitely leave 10 minutes for questions and chat. But thank you all for joining today and for listening. And I'm sorry for the interruption earlier. I don't know what happened. So I've been asked to post my info. I'll put it on here as well, so you guys can copy paste as well. Put my cell phone. And I know sometimes people have, questions that maybe they don't want to ask in a group setting, so feel free to call me or email me later. If there's a client and you're not sure how and if we can help, I can, again, call me, text me, email me, and I'll pretty quickly tell you, can we help, how we can help, or if we can't help, I'm not going to waste your time or your client's time, and I'll let you know. We can help exchange about 120 different currencies, which is a lot, and we keep adding more. But of course, there are some places, some currencies that we just cannot assist with. I'm just trying to read the last message from Jeff. Okay, so Jeff has said he's been getting our daily exchange rate emails. Thanks, Jeff, for years. I wish you could do an exchange rate workshop to give those of us slow to understand or bad at math. I'm bad at math, Jeff. I'm not great at math. A chance to work with exchange rates and develop a good working knowledge of how these exchange rates matter in real life applications. Yeah, we can definitely do that. I've done in the past some presentations that were a lot more, I guess, technical and charts and numbers, and you have so many different people and how they process information. So I think I would lose half the room and win the other half, who are numbers and graphs people. So sometimes I do tend to really keep it simple and brush over the surface, but we can definitely, for people that want to, really get into it and discuss how it all works and how it's ticking and what it's doing and help you. But at the same time, I don't want you to ever feel like you have to sit down and be the currency exchange specialist for your client. We're here to do that. We want to make sure you have free time to buy and sell homes and do your thing. So sometimes I have noticed that there's partners of ours out there that they know our service so well that sometimes they just, by the time a client calls me, they have no questions. They're ready to go because the realtor has explained everything, which is great. That's fine. But don't feel like you have to do that. We're more than happy to explain things to your client, answer any questions they have, make them feel secure in using our service. And after you send that intro email to us, you can sort of lift your hands and wait for an update from me. So I can try and take as much as I can off your plate. At the same time, we sometimes have there'll be cases where we'll introduce a potential buyer to us, we'll speak and we'll build a relationship, and then the client will say in a few months, look, I'm just not anymore. It's not happening for whatever reason, but they don't relay that information to the realtor. So I'm happy to call and email you and say, hey, that client introduced to us a few months ago, just FYI, they're no longer interested, so that you're not wasting your time either. So sometimes we can just collaborate and make sure your clients are, communicating, or, so that you know what's going on with them. I'm going to pass it on to Cassidy so she can announce the next event. Is she there? Cassidy, are you around?
I am. So
You are.
So Eva, thank you so much for the presentation.
Of course.
Really appreciate you and what you do for our GBC. So thank you so much for being here and doing this today.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to stop sharing and put this there.
All right. With that being said, our next GBC event webinar is going to be the Spotlight on Spain on Tuesday, March 30th from 2:30 to 4. So please look for it on your portal, and we hope to see you all there. So thank you so much for today's session, and you all have a great day.
Thank you all. Take care. Thank you for your time.